HarperCollins and Harper Audio present Warriors, a Starless Clan, River, by Erin Hunter, read by Macleod Andrews. A note before we begin. To see maps and a cast of characters, download the accompanying enhancement PDF from your audiobook provider or go directly to www.harpercollins.com/pages/warriors, a Starless Clan, River. Special thanks to Cherith Baldry. Prologue. A full moon drifted above the treetops, shedding a chilly light over the gathering. Cats crowded around the great oak. In its branches, their leaders crouched, half hidden by leaves tinged with the golden brown of early leaf fall. Only their eyes, glowing like tiny moons, betrayed their presence. ShadowClan had been the last to arrive, the cats still wriggling through the crowd to find places. One, a black and white Tom, stood back, his gaze raking the assembled cats until it fell upon a SkyClan she-cat. Her white pelt, blotched with brown, glimmered in the moonlight. A purr gathered in his throat. The she-cat raised her head slightly as her gaze met his, and she slid quietly backward until she found a space in the shadow of a bush at the very edge of the clearing. The Tom joined her there, and they sat side by side. "I thought you were never coming," the she-cat murmured. The Tom shivered at the warmth of her breath near his ear. "Firestar likes to make an entrance," he responded. He had barely finished speaking when the ShadowClan leader let out a loud yowl, standing tall on a branch of the great oak. "Cats of all clans," he meowed as the sound of chatter died away. "Welcome to the gathering." Bramblestar, the leader of ThunderClan, was the first of the leaders to give his news, but his words washed over the ShadowClan Tom like a warm breeze that barely ruffled his fur. All his attention was on the she-cat at his side. His delight at being with her was almost like pain. He remembered how long they had loved each other, how they had begun with shared glances and short chats at gatherings, then managed to snatch a few meetings on their shared clan border by the lakeside. Every moment they had spent together had felt so precious, and yet so disloyal. What would our kin and clanmates say if they knew? Sometimes the ShadowClan Tom had hoped that everything would work out. After all, his clan leader, Firestar, had fallen in love with the ThunderClan cat, and she had left her birth clan to be with him. But he still remembered how long it had taken before ShadowClan had accepted Dovewing. "We're both loyal to our clans," he thought, with a loving glance at the SkyClan she-cat. "We don't want to lose our kin or our friends." His gaze drinking in the graceful curve of her neck, he remembered too how she had come to ShadowClan to help guard the impostor, Ashfur, when he was imprisoned there. The Tom shuddered to remember the evil spirit cat who had taken over Bramblestar's body and led ThunderClan until his deception was discovered. While he'd held on to power, he had almost wrecked the clans in his determination to root out code breakers. That had been a terrible experience for the clans, and the Tom felt a pang of guilt at how wonderful it had been for him and for the brown and white she-cat. Once all they could have hoped for were snatched moments beside their shared border. But once Ashfur was a prisoner in ShadowClan, guarded in turn by warriors from the other clans, her duties had brought her to the ShadowClan camp. Then they'd had a rare opportunity to sit side by side and talk, to be together without feeling they were stealing time away from their clans. Best of all, in the end, their terrible fear that they might be branded as codebreakers had been washed away like a twig in the floods of Greenleaf. The warrior code would change. StarClan would no longer forbid them from being together. The Tom's thoughts were interrupted as the SkyClan she-cat prodded him in the side. "Wake up," she whispered. Her eyes were glimmering and her tail twitching in excitement. "Misty Star is going to talk about changes to the warrior code. This is what we've come to
Sample complete. Ready to continue?